And starting with the name, Tasha, Tristan,
Tass, Brendan,
Paula,
Ross, Cliff,
Petra,
Michael,
Ian, Will,
Pauline,
Jeffrey,
Ruchika, Catherine, Geraldine,
Terry, Sol,
Tibor, Emma, Dean, Jamie.
and Kat. And thank you again. Thank you for showing up. That is what Bob would have wanted. And of course, he would have wanted us to go straight into non-duality. No fussing, no remembering, memorizing anything. But he's not there, so it's not up to him anymore. And we will just see where the energy rolls. And just for a change and just for the start, we could just do the cliche 1 minute silence if you're okay with that. Just
Anyway.
so when I say that he's not here, of course, is the dream character that I'm talking about. Because his life is ever present, is never not here. And as he was always saying, where would I go? Where there is ever to go? Space, temporarily embodied in a form, using the body as the interface for experiencing. That interface is gone, but the life never dies. It is never gone. There is no prior to life, afterlife, reincarnation, or any sense of ideas of anything other than this moment. This moment is all there is, and in this moment, as life, free from the form, life is. And it is the same life that is in the form. It doesn't change. It is the reality. Reality is that which never changes. So in a way, he would say nothing has ever happened. But of course, that beautiful dream of the dream character coming into existence and having wonderful, juicy, beautiful life and coming out of the picture, like that one in a dream did happen. It's not right now. Right now is just a memory. But it's a beautiful memory, it's cherished memory. And all those seeming not happenings are really for the love and appreciation of that creative capacity, of that creative force. And with that one, it's just so easy to appreciate. I mean, you cannot not appreciate everything that he is and he was and he represents. And he wouldn't want it to be about him, of course. He would want it to be about non-duality, but anything and everything can be used to point to non-duality. I would like to answer the query of people, because also appreciate all the beautiful comments and words of support and condolences, some of which were expressing relief that he is out of the misery. I don't know if he has experienced any misery. Up until the end, the pain never reached a level of 2 or 3 in a scale of 10 and was instantly remedied. So even though he was in bed, he was surrounded by love, expressing love, and up until the last day he spoke, he would be happy to be if the condition could reverse itself. And we were occasionally fantasizing of miraculous remission that happens every 10 million times, and just getting him back on his legs. But of course, the body has an expiry date. But just for those who were worried that, he's in a better place, he's resting, and he was miserable for those months, he was not. He was not miserable. Every day was precious. Every day was filled with love. Every day was fully appreciated. There was no suffering. There was no fear of dying. There was a lot of exchange of the most highest quality life essence in form of love, unconditional love that sees the reflection of itself in the other without any boundaries, without any expectations, without any trading. So those who were here to see that close enough, of course the nurses were here every day, they were all absolutely amazed how he could outlive the expiry date so much and so many times and for so long, and just be still happy to be full of the people who came to provide service. They really all became kissing his hands and thanking him for his energy and for his light, which was quite amazing. It's probably not a regular palliative client, everyone could say. So one of his last words, because I did actually always lovingly beg him to hang in there forever, at least till his birthday, then till my birthday, then till our wedding anniversary, till our 9 years anniversary, and then after the 9 years anniversary, which he actually managed to, that was 28th of January, that was just 9 years and 9 days, and that was it. And one of the last words that he said, it was, "Please forgive me." He couldn't hang on any longer. It's not as if there is a he who had a choice or saying in it. But in that play of the dream characters exchanging love, that was, well, look, I love you, but it's just the life is pulling out. And then the only thing that he would say until he stopped speaking was, "I love you, and I love you, and I love you." And that was just until the exhaustion of the body and the consciousness kind of faded, and it came to the state of like really delirium. The body was restless, the eyes were open, but there was no responses. He couldn't recognize voices or anything. And then after the body relaxed a little bit, next morning he would squeeze the hand of people who were coming. There was our palliative support worker and a couple of his friends of 40 years that could see that the hearing is still going on, although the body wouldn't be able to. Just there wasn't enough of that. It's a machine after all, and it does have an expiry date. The body is really no different as in his spiel to the coat or the car or the house. That's its function. You say, "My body?" Well, whose body is that? It belongs to the life which animates it for itself, so it can use it for experiencing and expression. And it was a remarkable body with remarkable capacity, resilience, and capacity to just stay afloat and to give. And about his giving, well, we all experience the incredible capacity for giving himself fully, always, being patient. And even for the last years and the beginning of the year 10, I was scheduling all his individual sessions, which would be having a priority over anything else. If there was someone on the other side of the world that could feel that they do need that attention and the pointing, that was no-brainer. And even after a couple of sessions, he would say, well, unfortunately, he or she didn't hear a thing. It's just not the capacity for resonating just wasn't there, because there was so many concepts clouding that the mind was literally closed. It wouldn't open enough to hear. And I say, okay, so if they ask for the next session, would you like me not to schedule it? And he says, yeah, we'll see. And the next week the person asks for a session, Bob says yes. Even though it's really, it was hopeless, obviously. I mean, in 10 years, maybe, whatever. But he would still show up, because that was his capacity for love of recognition of that life within, behind that way, that thick wall of concepts that is still there, and that is still that same one life. And that's all that he always ever had to say to everyone. You are that one life. You are no different to what I am. This is it. It's just the call for the recognition. And a lot of you heard the call, and there is no you that hears the call. But those who hear the call, they know there is no you. The call for recognition, when recognition lands, life rolls just as it always did, but not for me, not for someone. The agency has been dispelled, the light has been cast, and the shadow of the agency just disappeared. And feelings and thoughts and emotions and actions and responses and reactions and everything else shows up in the body as it always does, but there is no credit claiming agency there. I've done it, I shouldn't have. And that's the freedom from suffering. That's the freedom from the misconception of self. And that's really what we are here to, just in every possible way, land back into that source of joy arising from the recognition that nothing is ever wrong, ever, ever. Even in the moment of, like, what can I say? I mean, the most beautiful part of the dream that I could ever imagine has been taken away. It ended somehow. It's just not going to be the same. But there is even beauty in the fact that, the way life actually got to this point, in the story of that dream, in the story of what happened, because they're all just stories. In a story of support, of the universe still showing and proving that it looks after its own, the sustenance of it, that things are actually unfolding as they should. So yeah, what's ever wrong if you don't think about it? And then again, where would anyone be without the thought, or not be without the thought? And I just can't be grateful enough for that over 9 years of just living with someone who does not subscribe to thoughts, because it became such strong habit in this one, that practically, even if they are waves of tears coming up, there is no suffering. There is no resistance to it. There is a sweetness and beauty of that waves coming up. It's not really a lightness, but there is some tension which suddenly gets released. All is welcome, because there is no one there who would have preference for anything to happen any other ways. No one who would prefer not to cry or not to feel, or no one who would believe in the ideas that there is any other option for the reality, any other than this as it is right now. And this is so freeing because the mind is quiet. So the attention is on every task that shows up and asks for the attention. So the life, the whole universe as one solid block of reality, it just shows itself what to attend to next. And there is no one in objection. And that is what once that is realized, it makes it inevitable to have it as a heartfelt wish for everyone to be able to see and live like that without resistance to whatever arises. Even if the body responds with the resistance, you're not the body. Even if the body responds with insomnia, wow, interesting, isn't it? Even if the body stops eating, fascinating. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. The body is a machine fully programmed on autopilot. Machine is a wrong word because it's made of consciousness. But it really is a set of infinite amount of factors, algorithms playing together, conditioned, that it does what it always did, and it will update its program, but it will still do its thing.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. So, a life in which the worst tragedy imaginable is still. Yeah, there are chairs there in the room. Yeah, there are no? Okay. Okay. So bringing that light of attention to that source of all attention, to that source of all creation, that was the one, apart from, of course, reflecting love from each other's eyes and energy, and that was one thing that really invigorated Bob and kept him alive for so long. Because especially people who were here, like again, Palatives, Tanya was here, she moved out because she's unwell, but I hope she'll be back, to see how Sunday meetings or Zoom meetings would give him an extra boost of energy, and suddenly he would be 20 years younger. Suddenly he would be capable of getting out of bed and going on wheelchair to the garden. That energy of pointing, it has some sort of a magic which sparks that love, and love is the highest quality of life essence, is the really high vibration of life essence. Everything is life essence. Misery is life essence. Grief or shame, all of it is the energy of life essence. But everyone knows how different is the vibration of depression to that of gratitude. It's quite obvious. So keeping that light burning was, from the perspective of those who were having him as that lighthouse, nothing but source of gratitude, but from his as well. He says it is a two-way street because there is no two. It is this reflection of the other. He says, I'm not speaking to anybody. I'm speaking to that I am, that I am. There's only one I am, even though it may be spoken through many different vehicles. But there is no one there that is saying to someone else out there. There is just that dance of life, bringing that love of being back into the center of attention, back into the heart, out of that clouding entertainment, which is not wrong, is wonderful, is to be appreciated as well. But when it is believed unconditionally, it backfires and it bites and it hurts and it clouds the source of joy. Anyone would like to say something?
Over
Get a mic.
Essentially, one's whole experience of life is sort of simplified.
Yeah.
And it can't be simplified any more than that. Bob has expressed it. And in its utter simplicity, it just comes down to those five, what do you call the five factors? Satchit, Ananda, Namarupa. And that's the whole story. And that can be simplified again down to just not two. My wife and I keep reminding ourselves when we criticise or separate in some way, not two. Nonduality, not two. It stops the rubbish straight away. Yeah, so it's just the simplicity of Bob's fading away gradually, and the marvel that was, that is, because no one died.
Yeah, to me, Bob isn't fading away. It seems like he is just there, and nothing really has changed. I know the form is not present, or it's not sitting in the chair, or wherever lying in the bed, but just that being that he is, I am, and I just know that wherever the attention goes to Bob, he is there, and because he is that love that we are, and ever present, and that's the way it seems to me. And it's like, what is death really? I mean, it is the body passing, and that's all. The beingness is always there, and I feel that about people I've known and loved that have died, also always in the presence whenever the attention goes there. So, it's what I've seen through coming here is great gift, and for that I'm always grateful. The appreciation of life and everything that flows through us and flows through Bob too.
Thank you, Kat, for your beautiful words this morning. And I met Bob in '89 and regularly attended meetings weekly for 25 years. And his passing reminds me of my body's potential passing, and it's not easy. In the story, it's not easy. Just saying, yesterday my father had five siblings. My mother had 5 siblings, and they're all gone. And the memories are there of just the beauty of those forms and the beauty of life. And it's a wonderful thing to experience life as an appearance, to enjoy being the appearance and the sun, the wind, and the cheek, whatever. It's beautiful to experience life in the open awareness that I am, which you are, and there's space for more to happen. And just wonderful, I've really touched wonderful your service and your devotion to Bob and to yourself as projection onto Bob. And I wish you well in your openings to future events in your life, and the satsang, and whatever happens, it's touching to be part of life and part of your life and Bob's life and the faces here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you very much, Kate. What you were saying was really beautiful. It really resonated in so many different ways. And again, going back to Bob's pointing, many years ago, I've been attending. I've known him for more than 15 years now, and it's just it's just the mind, when the mind thinks of all this, the physical self is the creation of the mind, So when we get too attached to this creation of the mind, the rupa and the nama that is attached to the rupa, then the cloud that you're talking about keeps on coming, and it takes many different forms. And once we catch it, we see it, and the seeing itself dissolves all of the cloud, and then that opening to each and every one and everything just happens. It just happens. It keeps on happening, and there's a lot of sweetness and that subtleties and that sweetness. You cannot explain it. It's all very experiential, and it keeps on happening, and it touches everyone and everything that comes into that space of that happening. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. I can actually. Oh, you say no? I can include a online community comments here. Simone says, I have the mic here. In the quiet body-mind, all is welcome. Freedom for both the agony and the ecstasy. Beautiful, so true. Yeah, who's there to object to any? And Bill says, my heart goes out to you, dear Kat, holding you in boundless light and love. How courageous you are, how inspiring you are. I'm in awe of your inner strength and beautiful heavenly love. Thank you, Bill. And Love You Kat says, Joe and Rachel, is the mic working? She can't hear. Oh my God, sorry. Maybe it is not. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. I didn't actually check it right at the beginning. Well, it wasn't meant to be. Some people do hear. Jyoti says, beautifully expressed, Kat. He needs to speak into mic, so perhaps someone had too far. Yeah. Oh, sorry for that. And Jyoti says, audio seems to be cut off. Mic not working. And Jenny says, so happy to see you have people showing up at your house. This is what Bob wanted. I love you, Kat. And the sound is not very good, and words can't express the love and appreciation, Colin says. Well, okay. Jyoti says that we can hear you, Kat, but not others. Aha. Is it? Aha.
Works. Testing.
Testing. Anyone can hear, Dean? Grateful to be with you, says Beth. Thank you for this. Lots of love. And Rohan says, much love, Kat Adamson, for so happy to see these sessions continuing. Could keep shining the light of truth. Both would be so happy to see the message being shared so widely. Yes, I also have announcement actually for those who are watching us online, and it will be uploaded on YouTube as well. That was Dean's brilliant idea. We're gonna, because I do assume that you guys will be able to show up on the memorial service that is on Saturday, because you are local. And if you don't, that's okay too, because there are people who can't come from overseas or for whatever reasons. And Julia has created a link into which anyone can log in and put a minute of a video, half a minute of a message, if they want to be a part of the funeral, because that we can later on put on the screen and those messages will appear. I didn't give it much of a thought, but you may just want to say thank you. You may just express love or whatever comes up. In the name of appreciation for Bob. I mean, he doesn't have ears to hear it anymore, but that energy will nourish yourself because it is really one and you are still here. So finding that love, heartfelt appreciation and just putting it out there, this body is the first one to feel the sweetness and it will get multiplied. So that's just an invitation. I will post the link together with that video in the comments on Facebook and also in the YouTube. And I will, for once, because I've never posted any of the gatherings on Bob's YouTube channel when Bob wasn't present. I want his channel to be his channel and don't do any sort of dodgy self-promotion, but I will make an exception today just for that reason, so that people can access if they would like to pay the tribute. It will be accessible. Tristan says, yes, it is the handheld mic that doesn't work. And Jenny is asking, when can one find that link? I haven't posted it, Jenny, yet. I will. I'll post it everywhere I can. I'll post it on Facebook group. I'll post it on Facebook page, just which we are using here for stream, and on Bob's YouTube channel. So hopefully, something nice and short and sweet. And that's it for the announcements. Now we can go back to non-duality. Oh, I can tell you a little story here. The pesto just came back, and I tell you that animals are also experiencing. Oh, he just left. Okay. Everybody knows pesto. Oh, yes, he's just walking around here. Bob's favorite ginger cat. So he was assisting Bob and hanging out on his lap since Bob was bedridden. I mean, he was never fully bedridden. On a good days, we could transfer him to the recliner and he would be sitting. As you could see on Sunday meetings, sometimes he's in the recliner, just very comfortable. And is he still there? Pesto, come, darling. Come, sweetheart. Come, darling. There you are, baby. Yes, so that was quite an event for the animal as well, what happened, because Bob went to the state of like acute delirium about 24 hours before he passed away. And then he fell asleep. He was still semi-conscious. But that was the time when nurses actually realized after a whole struggle with everything cancer-related, he did not die of cancer. He did not die of the drug overdose either. The drugs were very well controlled to keep him pain-free, and I assure you, he was as pain-free and comfortable as he could be, and he was happy to be. There wasn't a misery, that wasn't a mercy for him to. It was just a natural course of things. That's just how life moves. So Pesto was with him as long as he possibly could, sitting when Bob was conscious. The moment he stopped being conscious, his body temperature rose really high up. He was burning, and that is normally what attracts the animals, and not this time. So it was an acute chest infection. Bob was hardly mobile, and he had fluid in his lungs, which we knew since October. They tried to drain it out. It wasn't possible. I mean, some amount was, but the body was falling apart, frankly, and the fact that the fluid didn't get infected in October, which I was told that he had a couple of weeks before because of that. I was told that I'll be widowed before 50. And I was told that he's not going to see Christmas and he's not going to see Dean's birthday and all those things, all those hallmarks, the love sustaining life prevented him from that infection to progress until the very last day when the infection came with the exhaustion, and it went really within 24 hours from being fully responsive to being unconscious and to leave the body. But for that last 24 hours, because there was the infection there in the body, cat would keep clear. He would stay on my bed, which I was just a centimeter away from his, and just watch everything from the distance. And when Bob took his last breath, cat was very, very present, but he made nothing of it. Absolutely nothing of it. He was looking and licking his foot, and looking and licking his tail and his hands and his. That's just how natural things are in nature. If you don't have a thought or story that, oh, this is the most profound moment, or this is the intimate moment, or this is threshold, or whatever you may say, cat made nothing of it. And I was watching my mind in the response, because for the last couple of months I got accustomed to sleep very shallowly because his breathing was erratic. That's why so many doctors were convinced that he entered dying process months earlier. So I got to listen to that erratic breathing to shake him if it stops for too long. And then when it stopped, and it didn't come back, and it didn't come back, and it wasn't erratic, it went very, very quietly. That was really it. And then we didn't see the cat for another day and a half. He did not come for the breakfast. He did not come for the dinner. He hid himself under very, very confined space under the bed where he could feel that confinement giving him comfort. And that was it. I was seriously worried that he got some sort of a manageable physical, but all the creatures respond to environment, and that was a shocking change, because suddenly there was a lot of things happening at home, people coming, taking the bed away, the body first, and that's really a little bit of the non-dual perspective, because Pesto doesn't know anything about having a separate self. So for him, nothing ever happened. The situation changed, but there is no narrative about it. And he's good now. It's been 2 days, and I see he's happy to be. And Julia has already inserted the link, so thank you for that, Julia. Jenny already got it. So on Facebook page, it is www.tribute.co/Sailor. What is that called? Hyphen the short hyphen Bob hyphen Adamson, and then slash, and question mark invite equals copy, and what is the one? Yeah. Well, anyway, it's probably easier to just find it on Facebook page and or on YouTube. Sorry for that. And Simon says perfect pesto. Yes. So what that incredibly intricate, beautiful, deep, and colorful man, that sand mandala that just got swept away by life and is probably already being incinerated, if not today then tomorrow, back into the dust, back into the ashes. What did it mean for every one of us? What stories will we have about that beautiful, beautiful, shining light of, for me, it was an ultimate expression. Like, if there is an ultimate masterpiece, the absolute at its best, showing itself in a full glory with no limitations ever, that's it. That's what he is and always will be. For me, he was joking sometimes that, come on, you're still young, you'll find someone. I say, stop it. I mean, you wouldn't wish it to the worst enemy, to be someone who comes after you, because that is just going to be one huge disappointment. But gosh. But yes, we did have jokes about that, because what he was, I mean, you can obviously say I'm kind of a worshipper type, but this is not a worship of a messenger, because over 9 years ago, it was December 2015, he stopped being my superior. in one single blast, it was just suddenly obvious. And within the next 20 minutes, I actually looked at him completely differently. And I said, shit, you are my equal. You're not my teacher. No one is ever superior. Neither of you is inferior or doesn't have what he does, or all of those stories are nonsensical. It's just a narrative believed into existence. It's just the image that has been fueled by that dreamy energy of belief. Just like children believing in a fairy that they exist, they're real. But when that realization came upon, I have nothing but absolute appreciation for the beauty and the clarity in which the spiel evolved and in which it has been presented without any shit around, without any rituals, without any frills and nothing but appreciation. But my love for him is as the love for the pure reflection, the one reflection, the partner, the husband, not even that, because he would often say that there is no such thing as relationship. And what we share is not a relationship, it's a recognition of oneness, and that we were completely on the same page with. So yes, I'll worship that perfect reflection, because I have not ever experienced any more beautiful reflection of myself as life than in the eyes of this guy, even though I'm a worshiper of the sky. Many of you may know how I just worship the sky, and I was working at sea for 17 years and lying every night and watching the sky, the night sky and the stars, and gazing, and all days just looking at the moving clouds and the ocean. Beautiful. But you know what? He was just so much more beautiful. That all the skies that I've ever seen were there, included and surpassed. That's the magnitude, and that's the possibility. Anyone can actually see that reflection in anything, because it really is all one. And the capacity to perceive it, to see that beauty, is the capacity, it is shining forth to the capacity through which the mind is disbelieved. Because, if the mind still believed, hey, but he's twice your age, but hey, he's falling apart, but hey, but there is a lot of work around. If any of that was believed, that would just, what a waste. But there is no need to believe the mind, even if it does its thing, even if it comes dysregulated, jump, shout, scream, complains, it will always do it. It's its nature, it's its function, and it is a wonderful function. If not for the complaining mind, a lot of improvement wouldn't have come into existence. It's just the unconditional belief into the mind complaining about the me, which doesn't exist, causing the self-pity or insecurity or feeling unlovable or not good enough. That just needs to be seen through. And the rest is just incredible show of mind. The mind is just a projector, just creating the bubbles of everything, of the 10,000 things. And Jenny says, oh, recognition of oneness. And Henya says, love you, cat. And Jenny says, love you, cat. And John David, brings my heart joy to see you carrying on with the meetings, cat. Well done. And thank you, John. You were one of the, he's in America. He was one of the guys who motivated me the most strongly to write the book and to go on with the meetings. So thank you. Thank you for being there, John. Definitely have to catch up, even though we usually catch up with Bob with us. But hey, where would he ever go? That essence which manifested and created itself, that dream body of Bob, is never gone anywhere. Doesn't mean that it has a shape of Bob, or there is a ghost of Bob, or the form of Bob. Yes, it is if you believe it, but without believing the mind, it is just life appearing and expressing as it is. And Angel says, and that's Isabel, much love, Kat Adamson, stunning, condolences. And yes, condolences usually make me cry, and believe me, there is a sweetness in it. So I will probably on the event hide away for at least the official part, to not look like a bloody zombie with mascara running down my cheeks. But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, what's wrong? The concept that there is, oh, this is a psychological suffering. You see, she never got it. No, the she, the I, the self can never get anything because there is no self to get anything. But if the body is conditioned, if it has certain sensitivity, it can even cry, hearing other story, watching movie. And what's wrong with that? That sensitivity is sweet and beautiful. And I don't know how many cries of mine Dean have seen for the last couple of days, probably about 100. But yeah, the life has provided. I wouldn't drink water if he didn't feed me with it, because that's how the body is responding to a situation to which it doesn't have any script. It is amazing. It's fantastic. It just doesn't have a script. So, eternal essence, says Simone, and you are magnificent reflection, Kat. Thank you. And yes, Bob liked it. He liked me. So even as a dream character can't be that bad. Well, the truth is, I can, absolutely. I mean, gosh, I'm absolute nightmare for quite a few people who were expecting to get that seat after him. I ruined their life. I'm just a nemesis. I promise you. I'm the most hated object in the universe. But, but I'm neither, and I'm all, the totality. But for him, and I was reminded of it for most of our life on daily basis. I was the love of his life, even though he had his first marriage lasting much, much, much longer. But the unconditionality that we had, the compatibility that we had in those short 9 years, it just didn't happen ever before for neither of us. So it is definitely a gift that I would wish wholeheartedly to everyone to experience once, even if for a brief moment. It's totally beyond words, totally. And Jenny says, feeling the presence of Bob so strongly. I was only 28 as my father died. In the obituary I wrote, love never dies. And so it is. Love is everything. Thank you, Jenny. I would like someone to help me. Say something. Jenny. Yes, guys, tell us if it works. If not, you are close enough. You could take this.
Hello. Calling out to the universe. Anything coming back? Am I just talking to myself? Probably later.
There is only one self. Yeah. I can't see the responses just yet. Can you see? Any objections to how is the sound coming? Can you hear Jamie?
I'll talk anyway.
You know what?
Yes. Maybe just.
This one, okay. How's that?
That will be good because this one was working.
I haven't got a lot to say, but just sitting here reflecting while Kat and others were talking, it just occurred to me this is almost the 10th anniversary. It was 2015, about this time of year, when I first met Bob. And I remember coming then, and I remember like others in the meeting saying, you better come back as much as you can and talk to Bob while you still have the chance, because he's not going to be here much longer. And that was 10 years ago, and I was surprised. That's why I have to give Kat a lot of credit, because she gave Bob a new sort of lease on life. I don't know how to kind of express it, but gave him a very pleasurable final 10 years of his life. And I spent a bit of time with Bob in the last couple of months, and I was astonished to see his message, him actually walking the walk and living the message embodied, considering the suffering of the body that was going through in its final stages, the joy and the laughter we had, those hours we spent together, and just absolute joy, and the light in Bob's eyes was just really, I don't know, filled me with a lot of joy, and to see that, like, because look, that's the ultimate test. This message is easy when life's going good, you know, when things are going your way, it's easy to go, I'm one with everything and there is no me, and feel the energy, and it's wonderful. It's when life throws its shit at us, which it inevitably does, that the message really stands on its own, and how this body-mind responds to those situations as they inevitably arise, because, you know, anybody that's been around long enough knows that, you know, life's a bit of a roller coaster, and we, you know, 1 minute we're well and everything's going our way, and then life has its way and things turn, and we're challenged with whatever. And to see that living proof of the total acceptance of life as it was presented to him at that time, and to still see that light and the optimism and the joy and the love of being, was really fucking inspiring.
Yes. Yes. Oh, so true. Anyone? A word? Tristan.
I just keep having a thought, and I think I'm going to botch it up anyway. But so, yeah, probably. So I'm pretty sure someone in the room can correct me. So yeah, I just was thinking about that pointer, and I think it went something like love all of it, or not. And then was there another part after that?
The rest will be done for you.
Yeah, and that just came through it. I thought that's a really beautiful pointer.
Yes, the second one.
Yeah. And I remember Bob used to say that.
Yeah. Love all of it or none of it, and the rest will be done for you by the same life essence that brought you into existence. It really points into, you know, it kind of sounds like he's suggesting that there is a you who has a choice to love either all or none. It isn't. It really is just verbalizing the state of neutrality in which the space, you know, space is neutral. It doesn't have preferences for one thing or another. So love all or none is really a pointer to that complete neutrality. Dream character will not be neutral. Dream character will always follow the pleasure and avoid pain. But you are not the dream character. If you relax that dream character and you land in that space-like awareness, that completely all-embracing field of awareness, that knowing, which allows everything to be space, doesn't have any, you know, that's that very life essence. That's the pointer. It doesn't say do that, because there is no you to do that. It says kind of like tune in, relax out of the doing mode, and just rest in that, which doesn't. I sometimes, when I talk, I have individual calls with people, sometimes suggest to imagine that like video camera, the way it records everything. Instead of looking through your eyes, there is a little camera which sees everything, and it doesn't judge. It doesn't have the capacity. So that way of seeing, completely neutral, without the overlay of interpreting narrative, or the same way of hearing as you would have the recording device. It doesn't say I like this, I don't like that, just completely space-like. It is another word of pointing, cognizing emptiness. Emptiness with the capacity of noticing the content, with the capacity of being conscious of the content. But as emptiness, it, you know, the dream characters straight away, that interface, oh, I'm a woman, oh, I'm pretty, or I'm not, or I like this food or not the other. So this stuff kind of comes and mingles with the perception, and it becomes almost inseparable, the pure capacity for seeing with the interpretation of what is seen. But it can be recognized that overlay, that overlay of a narrative is just an added like a blanket over that which is completely neutral, completely unknowable in a way. Catherine, did you want to say something? Oh, please. That doesn't work, the mic? We're not sure. Some people will say yes, and some people will say no. Gosh, I mean, I really don't know what to say. So much and so little, but I feel like would like to say something at a time like this because, and thank you, Kat, for your words, especially in the beginning, beautifully expressive, and I think that's the beauty of sort of resonating with this as far as the form goes, is that everything's allowed and everything can flow, and there is a beauty in that. Working with young children, I see that. That's why we love them so much, because they're so spontaneous and expressive, and in the moment there's no sort of preconception there very much going on. But having come to Bob for a long time, and in the beginning I remember thinking, I was amazed at that time when I first met Bob, how he was so clear, and I thought, gosh, how does he remember that he's not a person all the time, I thought, how does he remember that? Because I forget, I'm a person. But every time listening to him, he was so strong and so resolute in his knowledge of just being pure life. And it took a lot of the concepts falling away, and still do, just those insights that come, and you see tendencies that kind of are held and seen through. There's such a beauty in that. And the fact that, well, everyone's there. There's no final kind of, okay, now I'm that, because we're always that. So even if stuff arises, well, there's the opportunity to see through it, and there it is. That's beautiful too, because there's no beating yourself up, or I shouldn't be like this or that. And, so many fantastic insights that you see from just exploring this with Bob and now and with others. And I think that's the beauty of getting together with people. Like you said about Bob, it's like that light has not the capacity, I don't know the word, but to shine and reveal itself more, like shining some silver. The shine was always there. You just have to rub it a little bit, and there it is. It's just been so beautiful to be part of Bob and the whole journey. I could say some more, but, I really, really feel so appreciative.
I'll say something. You inspired me, Catherine. I'm just remembering back meeting Bob many years ago, and I met him through another organisation and started talking to him, and I thought, if I'd heard that he was some sort of guru or something, I knew nothing about it really, and I just thought he seemed like an ordinary Australian sort of old bloke that you'd meet over the back fence or something, and it's very easy to talk to about things, and started coming here, and I just remembering of some of the pointers that you were talking about, Kat, and that thing that he said, if we're just that, no one is superior and no one is inferior to you, and that really sort of struck me, that there are no sort of exalted people or no worthless people or anything like that. It's all the one spirit, the one beingness. And just remembering also his birthday party just recently, and I managed to sit down and have a quiet chat with him. And I just said to him, Bob, I've known you for about 25 years now, and I just have to say thank you. Really just want to thank you for all the help that you've given me over that time. And he, quick as a wink, he said, "Oh, Cliff, I just have to thank you too for all your help, because it cuts both ways." And I had to laugh and think it was just and he meant that, and he's quite serious, and I believe that. And it's just incredible, that beingness, and he was so consistent about it. There was no past, no future, and no person, and Bob was just always so clear in that whenever you spoke to him. I remember it very well, and take it with me always. So thanks. Anyone else?
I can try the other mic and you guys tell me online if that is going to be helpful or not. Because we shortened it, so it might actually. And I think we had Catherine and James. James says Bob pointed out that you are not the body or the mind. What is the mind but thought flow only? The body is made of 5 universal elements. You are that life that animates the body. Nothing else but that intelligence energy which a thought can grasp. Full stop. You are prior to any thought, and we are all that life itself. Beautifully put. I hope everyone heard it, because we have just time with a short mic. And blessing to Bob from Judy, and so very true. Deborah says, Jenny says, yes, that is what I so appreciated, the deep truth of peace, even when the shit hits the fan. Yes, and excellent. This is happening thanks to Bob Adamson, Kat Adamson, Jay. And Ariel says, boundless love and appreciation. And Christopher, hey, she's saying hi to Caroline and not Kat. Will be smiling. And let's see, we don't know if we are audible, but I see their hands are coming and hearts coming, so I assume.
No one's saying we're not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's good.
Yeah, I think it's good. Thanks, Dan.
I'm surprised how difficult this is for me today, and particularly over the last few days. I've been deeply sad, and I'm so grateful that I'm deeply sad, because there was a time where my greatest wish in coming to understand this teaching was that I wouldn't feel again. That was my greatest wish. I didn't want to feel anymore. That'll give you an indication as to where I was. So there's no joy. It was just, I felt like shit really badly all the time. And I was hoping that I would just not feel again. What a surprise. I feel more now than I ever did. And it's great, Yeah, Bob's been in my life for a very, very long time. And I'm so pleased that I got to spend the last few days with him before he passed. And, we could exchange I love you, That was so special. So yeah, I'm feeling sad. But at the same time, what Bob taught me primarily was how to inquire, how to look, And it took a long time, but it started to shift in. Then the direct self-inquiry for yourself could start, You could actually start to look at different things that Bob was saying, And, hearing Jamie speak, thank you, Jamie, hearing Kat speak, everybody actually, what kept coming up for me was this personal self is a character. I don't know how many times we've heard that, we hear that. It's a character, and the character can't see, hear, taste, touch, or smell, and the character is not conscious, and the character is not aware. Which leaves you with, what's this? Here I am. And that's what Bob got me to see, just through his teaching, as a long time spent coming to understand what I'm not. A long time was spent doing that, and then, it gets simpler and it gets simpler and it gets simpler and simpler. And eventually you just arrive here, and there's just life expressing as life is going to express. There's no personal agency here. It's just life doing what life is going to do, And in the immediacy, if I come, like in the absolute immediacy of now, 99 times out of 100, nothing's happening. It's just still. It's quiet. It's still and quiet here. I mean, I might hear the sound of a tram going by, but it's the internal noise that stops. It's the mind that stops. And when that happens, it's then that you can actually appreciate here. Just this, what's happening here now. So I owe a great debt of gratitude to Bob for teaching me how to look, how to inquire. Then it becomes your own, and then you can start to inquire for yourself. I'll miss him a lot. I'm missing him now. I'm still very sad, and I love him so much for just always being there, always, always, always being there in my life as I needed him. When I didn't need him, he was there. When I needed him, he was there. Yeah, he's how I'm feeling right now is there's a hole, and that's okay. That's what I'm feeling. I'm just, but the hole is love. This we'll call it a hole. Yeah. But I know the hole is love. So I'm just feeling all of that, everything that there is to feel right now. I'm just feeling it, just allowing it, not judging it. It just is what it is. Yeah, I'll miss him. And I just also wanted to quickly just say, and a lot of people have already said it, but Kat, thank you for keeping him alive. You kept him alive. You really did. Like, you bent over backwards. I've never seen anybody dote over another human being like you did. Always making sure he was comfortable, feeding him, exercising him, loving him, talking to him, caressing him. Oh my God, it was just beautiful, So thanks for keeping him here as long as you possibly could. I know everybody's grateful for that, and it was amazing just watching you over the last 9 years love him like you did. So thanks for doing that.
Thanks for the microphone and opportunity. Imagine a boy who buys a XXX large T-shirt and then wait for his body to grow until the T-shirt fits on his body. That's how I I assume my experience in this beautiful, 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 miraculous, golden community. I'm pretty much beginner. I've got work to do, and thanks for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's okay.
Needless to say, I mean, as a human character, Bob had a lot of human traits and human preferences and a lot of love and friendship for special relationships. A special relationship Bob had with Taz, like really a family relationship almost. A special relationship with Jamie, with Dean, with Terry. Terry, he loved you so much, even though you were the one for 40 plus years. You broke his heart several times by just disappearing. But he always loved you. He always eventually get over the heartbreak and was happy to embrace you and see you. And that was just again another incredible demonstration of his incredible capacity to love. And then, yes, I could say as a dream character, that was my role to make him inexplicably happy and wanting to hang around. But the dream character, of course, can't take any credit for any of it, because for me it was as surprising discovery as it was for anyone and everyone. Day by day, I could just learn how my body is prioritizing him, making him smile, having the eye contact, having a touch, listening to our songs, or reading together, going for a walk. It was just discovery, just as life is. You don't know your next thought. You don't know your next feeling. You can't take credit for what is happening because the unknown is happening. The mystery is unfolding. But it was incredibly beautiful and satisfying to just keep discovering moment to moment that yes, he is the center of the universe and everything revolves, the whole life runs around him. What he wants to do, what he wants to eat, where he wants to be, all of it, it was like really a complete devotion, but it wasn't a devotion of a student to the guru because it worked both ways. He was the same with me. He had no other agendas or issues in life but to make me smile, but to make me happy. I know for a fact that going for 14 kilometers beach walks on his little scooter at age of 94 wasn't his dream. But he knew how I loved the beach walks, so he would come up with that. You want to go to the beach? I said, darling, do you? I know it will make you happy. You sure? He would do anything for me. He would take me to the markets, and he got me an opal ring at some point. So he dragged me, pretending that nothing's happening right now, to the opal earrings to just match it with it. Even though I'm not that much, I don't really care that much about, the spending money and all that stuff. I mean, people bring me beautiful dresses. They're all in the op shop now. I don't feel like wearing colors anymore. But this attitude of him totally having me as the center of his universe and really having that one agenda of getting that love burning, shining. It was just so mutual and so natural. And it was so obvious that apart from one-on-one meetings where we both would just put everything and give it a space, because that was a priority. Apart from that, there was just that shared joining that was so beautiful. So yes, even people for who I am absolute nemesis and they hate me to bits, they do have to admit that yes, his will of living and his shine and his strength and his health returned when he had a partner. He's that guy of Great Depression. He was born in 1928, the time where we watch the movies, the black and white movies, where the love, as it was understood, is something that comes from the first sight and is forever. And that level of commitment and loyalty, I don't know, I haven't seen it in today's romances. I just haven't. This sort of And he was that guy. He was married to Barbara before for 42 years. Not once he looked astray, not once. Even though she had quite a few stories when they were already together. He would just forgive her because she was the one and the only for that time then. He was told that no, he's not love of her life. The first husband was. Thank you. I'm grateful because it was just so easy to take the space and to actually really have him as a center. There's no one that could ever come near. But his attitude, his character, his personality, his level of loyalty, his beautiful talent of being a partner, of being a husband, as beautiful and brilliant he was as a mentor, as patient and loving and giving he was, as a friend who points towards the one truth, he was even more talented to be a partner because the gentleness of it, the naturalness of it, the ease of it, it was just so easy to just relax into that wavelength and completely reflect it back and live through the greatest love story I've ever seen. I've never seen it in anyone, in any movie, in any book. It was happening every day, and hour by hour. We had beefs occasionally. I think over the 9 years we probably yelled at each other maybe 5 or 6 times, but it lasted for 5 minutes. And then we would laugh like idiots, like, why would you ever want to hide that or compromise on that naturalness, appreciation, right? First thing in the morning, seeing each other and, oh, so grateful. Oh my God. And then last thing at night, just looking in each other's eyes and, oh boy, my darling, oh, what it's amazing. It's a gift. It's not for granted. It is not because there was no sense of self. I know people who do, people never realize anything. But I know instances in which life realized that there is no self. And yet, without the compatibility, the marriages fall apart. So it isn't to be credited. It isn't a promise that, if there is a realization that there is no separate self, then everything will be rosy and relationships will blossom. Absolutely not. But we had that gift. We did have that wonderful capacity given by life to just melt into the same wavelength. Just can't ever be grateful enough. And I remember when we got together, he says he's gonna last a year or two. I thought he may last 3. I mean, come on, look at him. 3, and that was over 9. So, can't complain. Although, of course, I was begging him on a day he was unconscious because the presence was still solid. Sweetheart, just stay like this. Just stay like this. I mean, don't go. But of course, that was just love speaking in those words, because it's always love speaking in every word. And lifing, deep gratitude, says Jenny. And she also says, yes, so deeply grateful. Thank you, Kat. And Anika, yes, Kat, thank you for everything you did in nurturing Bob, particularly in his illness. And thank you for being such a powerful embodiment of love. Love you. Gosh, I am grateful. I haven't done a thing. I am so grateful for finding myself in this role and discovering how easy it can be. I have done nothing. I've been in relationships before that were nowhere like that. It was just a miracle. And Julia says, I feel so much compassion for everyone. Mostly I feel immense gratitude. Bob was truly the most beautiful man I have ever known. When I catch myself missing him, another thought typically comes up. He's still here. The best place to meet him is in the space between the thoughts. Just like I can't describe the taste of an orange to someone who has not tried it, I cannot describe how grateful I am to Kat, the community, and especially Bob. That's beautiful, Julia. Thank you. And truly blessed, says Marianne. And Rayman, which means Janine. Thank you, Kat, for the love you sharing. Yeah, it's It's hard not to live in a memory when you go through something like that, isn't it? But life will verify. It is, again, it's a journey of discovery. Every moment is fresh and new. Nobody knows their next feeling, their next thought, their next situation. And luckily, not once throughout the time with Bob, having that beautiful habit of not looking ahead or looking forward, not once I was imagining anything other than what was happening. So it is completely uncharted territory. I have absolutely no idea, and I love it. I love that I don't know. I'm totally unprepared, and I'm totally surprised. Because if I was to expect anything, I would probably expect to want to be alone, and I would expect to have no support, and none of that is true. Life is unfolding it differently, and it's mysterious. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Would you like to say something? No?
It's hard to believe that you're talking as a master navigator.
I liked what Terry said earlier about not wanting to feel, and in recent times I'm really marveling at the capacity to just allow the feelings to come and go in their full expression, and not try and push them or influence them, but just allow them. And it's quite the thing. And I attribute that to just that completely unconditional love from Bob. He was a mirror, and the character in me was always kind of looking for rejection or looking for a hint of criticism. It was never there. And so that was reflected back, and I'm very, very thankful. I went to the toilet before, and I sat out on that back step there. There was one time here a few years ago, not recently, that I just left the meeting in just tears, and I went and sat out there, and Bob came out there, with his compromised body. He just came and sat on the concrete with me, and it was nice to remember that. And also what Jamie said earlier about the message really shining through in the difficult times, to watch Bob really walk the talk and be it. I'm very thankful, and thank you, Kat.
Nearing the time, but one more thing that I could tell about that sweet and funny element, when it was inevitable, and it always is inevitable, that whatever has the beginning has an end. Whatever comes into form will return to formlessness. Bob had a joking preference to die like a gambler. Who knows when to fold it, who knows when to hold it, who knows when to, walk away, and knows when to run. And then in the lyrics it says that the best that can happen is to die in your sleep. Because as he was saying, you don't know your first breath. You're not gonna know your last one. So when on that day before the last day, the nurse came and she said, "Oh, he's got sepsis, he's got fever." Wonderful. That is the most merciful way of going. Absolutely pain-free. Technically, it sounded like he's almost gurgling water from the lungs, so it sounded like the projection could be that, oh my God, he's drowning, it must be a torture. No, the oxygen was going there, but it's just a lower and lower concentration of the oxygen. So the body wasn't really experiencing any discomfort, and that is well-known phenomenon in palliative, because there are people who do wake up and survive and report. There is absolutely not the slightest discomfort. Plus, over the last few months, I learned that being on narcotics, you may sometimes miss out on the early signs of pain, which I would always ask him, the level of pain 2, 3, and we top him up so it never go up to 5. So it is never more than a very light headache. But you can miss out just because of the narcotics. So I learned to watch his facial expressions, to watch the frowning, and the sign of discomfort would always show up as a frown. And there was none. There was none. So not only he died like a gambler in the sleep, completely pain-free, completely not knowing his last breath, but he also knew, and as I said initially, he said, "Forgive me, I can't hold on anymore." I mean, he didn't say that. He just said, "Forgive me," and then, "I love you, I love you, I love you." So that is sweet. His as a dream character, little request to the universe has been granted. And my all requests, because we were told, and you guys, some of you were with us in 2023, August, when he was given, you took him to get his hat, and there was a bunch of us there in Sassafras, where he gave us a final speech, because he was told he's got 4 to 6 months to live. And how long ago was that? And since then, I really wanted him to have the next birthday. The oncologist says, well, it's highly unlikely. It's probably not realistic to think. And what a fantastic birthday that we have. The best of the best, the 96. And then, of course, equally unrealistic were the other points. And I really wanted to kick that other few points that he's still there, that the love and the light still shine. And my little request as a dream character has been granted too. Although, of course, I would have the big request for him to just get 20 years younger, spontaneous remission, never die, but that's ridiculous. So they are things in the tragedy of losing the most beautiful part of the dream that could ever be dreamt. They are beautiful things that could be noticed and acknowledged and appreciated. And I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised that I can still see the beauty. I can see the appreciation. I'm very, very grateful for the help and for offer of the help and the real, serious physical help that I got over the last 3 days with everything, with organizing, moving the bedroom, with organizing the service. And I'm speechless, really. That was so unexpected and so moving and beautiful. And just really, really thank you for being here and for sharing that beautiful presence.
Okay.
Yeah, you say something.
Well, thank you. I think you've done fantastic for even being here and hosting this. And I could talk, but I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to have the. No, you. Thank you. Well, I wouldn't know what to say, but then again the story appears, and then there was Bob, and I've known him for a time, and then he passed away a few days ago. But something happened, and I think he passed away like about a year and a half ago or something, in a sense, because
there became no more Bob. And everything so before that was all these pointers and experiences of pointers for me, and then that whole cycle actually stopped. And then there's no more Bob. Everything that Bob was pointing is, you could use the word Bob, the name Bob, but Bob as a light, as everything, as this awareness, as what is, as true nowness of exactly what is. And all of a sudden, Bob is me, and I am Bob, and everything is one show, and we can't. It's indescribable, unknowable, and yet it actually became more magnificent because it is perfect. It can't be. You don't want it like I was sitting here with the corpse, and it's absolute, the great perfection, and it's not a doubt, or maybe not this, and maybe not, absolute brilliance. In tragedy, there's brilliance. In elation, this is the living. Bob was the living example of this, and then all of a sudden, in association, it wasn't anything he said, but like there is no Bob and no me. This is the show, and we are the show, and we all. This isn't unique. This isn't some special person in any way talking. There's no friggin' person, and it applies to everything and everyone, and it's indiscriminate, and it's universal, and it's and there's Bob.
And actually, yeah, that is something that I would also like to acknowledge. Dean is, as everyone knows, really tuned into people's needs, and he's been tuned into to Bob and myself. So he actually, on some level, knew. I mean, we all kind of knew on some level. But we haven't seen Dean for a few weeks. He was busy with his business, and the groups were very small, so he didn't feel like his help is required. So we didn't see him in a long time, and out of a sudden, he actually sent me an information that on Wednesday he is gonna come and he will stay in a spare bedroom upstairs because that's what he will do. It wasn't a request. It wasn't a question. It was just that was an information. And I was the whole week I was alone because, as I said, Tanya was unwell, so I couldn't leave the house, go for a walk. I had to leave the nurse if I needed to get the drugs from the pharmacy because both neighbors were also away. And it was just, well, I was nothing to argue. It wasn't a question. I couldn't either agree or disagree or talk him out to it or talk him into it. And that was the very night. That was the night where I didn't know whether I need anybody's presence, but as life had it, I did, because Bob passed away. Dean knew respectfully and with his intuition to give me a couple of hours by myself there. And then he ventured down at 5 a.m, and of course I had to do a lot of, I need to call the palliatives and doctors and stuff. But then he could actually be there right on time after not seeing him for a few weeks. What an instinct, what a timing, what a guidance, what a way of that same one life just perfectly putting all the puzzles together as if there is no separation. Well, because there isn't one. And I guess if anyone is up for lunch in Sofia, just the way we used to do that, just take a trip down the road. I guess they will be very happy to see us, although I did get quite a lot of condolences and they say they're very, very sorry. But again, what is alive? The life that Bob is, that never dies. The love that he is, that never dies. And is the point too.